For years, one question has followed Germany everywhere they go. What happened to the most feared tournament team in football? This is the country that built its reputation on winning when it mattered most. 4 World Cup titles. Countless unforgettable nights. A team that never needed to play the most beautiful football because they always knew how to survive, adapt, and find a way to win. But suddenly, everything changed. Back-to-back group stage eliminations shocked the football world. The same nation that once terrified every opponent couldn't even make it into the knockout rounds. Confidence disappeared. Fans lost belief. Around Europe, people started asking if Germany's golden era was finally over. Now, another World Cup has arrived. But this time, something feels completely different. Not because Germany are the favorites. They're not. Not because they have the biggest superstar. They don't. It's because, for the first time in years, this team actually looks like Germany again. There's balance in the squad. There's energy in midfield. There's leadership in defense. Most importantly, there's a clear identity. Every player understands the role they're supposed to play, and every match seems to reinforce the feeling that this rebuilding process is finally starting to pay off. That doesn't mean lifting the trophy will be easy. In fact, the competition may be stronger than ever. France still have world-class talent. Spain continue to dominate possession better than almost anyone. Argentina know exactly how to handle tournament pressure, while Brazil, England, and Portugal all possess squads capable of winning 7 matches in a row. Germany know they'll have to earn every single step. And maybe that's exactly what makes this team dangerous. Nobody expects perfection anymore. Nobody is calling them unbeatable. Instead, they're becoming something far more difficult to predict, a disciplined, confident team that keeps improving every international window. History has taught football fans one lesson that should never be ignored. When Germany quietly rebuild, the rest of the world usually notices too late. The biggest difference compared to previous tournaments isn't simply better players. It's better direction. Every successful national team begins with an idea long before it begins winning trophies. For Germany, that idea arrived when Julian Nagelsmann accepted one of the toughest jobs in international football. At the time, many believed Germany needed another experienced manager to steady the ship. Instead, the federation placed its trust in one of football's boldest tactical minds. It was a gamble. But so far, it's looking like the right one. Nagelsmann has spent years proving that football matches aren't won only by individual brilliance. They're won through organization, flexibility, and creating systems where every player understands exactly what happens with and without the ball. That philosophy became clear long before he coached the national team. Whether working with ambitious clubs or managing elite players, his teams always carried the same identity: aggressive pressing, intelligent movement, quick positional changes, and fearless attacking football. What makes him different isn't one favorite formation. It's his willingness to change during matches. Germany might begin with one tactical setup, but within seconds the shape transforms depending on possession, pressing triggers, or where the opposition leaves space. Sometimes fullbacks step into midfield. Sometimes attacking midfielders drift wide. Sometimes the striker drops deep just to create room for runners behind the defense. Those constant rotations make Germany much harder to predict than they were only a few years ago. Even more importantly, the players appear to believe in the project. That belief is visible in the way they press together, recover possession, and react after conceding chances. Instead of panicking, they stay compact. Instead of forcing attacks, they wait for the right moment. Those details rarely make headlines, but they often decide World Cup matches. Tournament football isn't about dominating every game. It's about making fewer mistakes than everyone else. That's exactly the identity Germany are trying to rebuild. Of course, questions still remain. Can they consistently score against elite defenses? Can they handle the pressure of knockout football? Can this young generation deliver when an entire nation expects greatness? Nobody knows the answers yet. But unlike 2 years ago, Germany finally seemed prepared to answer those questions on the pitch rather than in press conferences. And when you look across every area of the squad, from experienced leaders to fearless young stars, you begin to understand why so many analysts believe this could be the strongest German team since their last great World Cup run. That growing belief becomes even clearer when you look at the squad itself. Germany may not have the single most expensive team in the tournament, but they have something every World Cup contender desperately needs: balance. It starts in goal. For years, Germany never had to worry about the goalkeeper position. Generations of elite shot-stoppers made it one of the country's biggest strengths. Today, the situation is different, but it's far from a weakness. Their first-choice goalkeeper brings composure under pressure, excellent distribution, and the confidence to help start attacks instead of simply protecting the goal. In modern football, that ability is just as valuable as making spectacular saves. The defensive line is where Germany's identity truly begins. This isn't a back four that simply waits for opponents. They're expected to defend aggressively, win duels early, and immediately turn defense into attack. The center-backs combine physical strength with calm passing, allowing Germany to play through pressure instead of clearing the ball aimlessly. Out wide, the fullbacks have one of the most demanding jobs in the team. They aren't only defenders. One moment they're protecting the back line, and seconds later they're creating overloads in midfield or delivering dangerous crosses into the box. Their movement constantly forces opponents to make difficult decisions. Then comes the engine of the team, the midfield. This is arguably Germany's biggest weapon. It combines creativity, intelligence, work rate, and tactical discipline. One midfielder dictates the tempo, another wins second balls, while the attacking midfielder operates between defensive lines looking for tiny spaces that most players never even notice. When Germany dominate possession, everything flows through the middle. Quick one-touch passing. Constant movement. Players switching positions almost instinctively. It isn't flashy for the sake of entertainment. Every movement has a purpose. That is exactly why breaking Germany's rhythm has become much harder than it was a few years ago. The attack also looks more unpredictable than before. Rather than depending on one superstar to score every goal, this team creates chances from multiple areas. Wingers attack defenders one-on-one. Midfielders arrive late inside the penalty area. The striker often drops deeper, dragging defenders out of position and opening space behind them. That variety makes Germany difficult to defend. Stop one player, and another appears. Close one passing lane, and two more immediately open. Depth could become another major advantage over the course of a long tournament. World Cups are rarely won by the best starting 11 alone. Suspensions happen. Injuries happen. Extra time drains energy. Germany now have enough quality on the bench to change matches without completely changing their style of play. Fresh legs don't simply replace tired players, they maintain the same intensity and tactical discipline. Of course, no squad is perfect. Questions remain about whether Germany can consistently convert their chances against elite opponents. Finishing opportunities becomes much more difficult once the knockout rounds begin, where a single missed chance can decide an entire tournament. There is also the challenge of handling pressure. Young stars may shine during qualification, but the World Cup presents a completely different level of expectation. Every mistake is magnified. Every decision is analyzed. Only players with strong mentality continue performing under those circumstances. And mentality has always been Germany's greatest tradition. That's why so many football fans refuse to underestimate them. The group stage may look manageable on paper, but Germany know better than anyone that football is never played on paper. Recent tournaments have already taught them that overlooking any opponent can end a World Cup before it truly begins. This time, the objective is simple. Start strongly. Build momentum. Win the group if possible. Because finishing near the top doesn't just build confidence, it can shape the entire knockout journey. Once the knockout rounds begin, every match becomes a final. There are no second chances. No easy opponents. One poor performance sends you home. Depending on how results unfold, Germany could find themselves facing some of football's biggest giants much earlier than expected. A single victory might lead to another heavyweight clash only days later. That's the reality of modern World Cups. The road to the trophy is rarely smooth. Imagine surviving one European powerhouse only to face another former champion in the next round. Then, just when fatigue begins to build, another title contender waits in the semifinal. That is the kind of journey champions are expected to survive. And if Germany truly believe this new generation is ready to restore the nation's reputation, these are exactly the moments they must embrace rather than fear. The encouraging sign is that this squad no longer looks overwhelmed by big occasions. They play with greater confidence. They recover from setbacks more quickly. Most importantly, they look like a team playing for each other instead of relying on individual moments of brilliance. That could become the difference between another disappointing exit and a genuine title challenge. Will Germany win the 2026 World Cup? Nobody can answer that today. Football has never followed predictions. It rewards the teams that perform when the pressure reaches its highest point. But one thing feels undeniable. Germany are no longer rebuilding. They're competing again. And if this group continues growing at the same pace, every favorite in this tournament will eventually have to ask themselves one uncomfortable question. Are we actually ready to face Germany when everything is on the line? Because if history has taught football anything, it's this. Ignoring Germany is often the biggest mistake their rivals can make. What do you think? Can Germany go all the way and lift another World Cup trophy, or will another football giant stop their journey? Share your prediction in the comments, because this tournament might produce one of the greatest comeback stories the World Cup has ever seen.